Hey guys, welcome to the NRL preliminary finals try scorer predictions preview. I have four players for across the two games of the prelim finals between the Storm and Roosters, and then Panthers and Sharks. I thought I'd wear the Sharks jersey to celebrate them making it through to the prelim final. Hopefully, they can pull off a big upset and knock out the Panthers and get through to the grand final. But we'll see what happens. I've already posted a preview of both of these games, who I think is going to win and why, and kind of went through, obviously, the Storm Panthers are big favorites, went through what it's going to take for the Roosters and Sharks to win these games as underdogs, what needs to go right, and what their plan needs to be to win. So before betting on the games from a head-to-head or total perspective, make sure you check out that preview. I'll link it in the description so it's easy for you guys to access it. And then in this video, we're going to run through the two try scorers who I think are most likely to score in this game. Pretty much have one from each side. So no matter which team you're cheering for, there's going to be at least one player, but not from the perspective of we're just trying to, find a player from each side. I do that through using the tools of the bet finders, the NRL bet finders, which you can access through the description. And if you join the NRL bet finders for right now, for the final 2 weeks of the season, just so you guys know that your membership pauses until next season. So you don't need to worry about canceling it or anything like that. It'll just pause all the way through to next year, and then you can decide if you still want to be a member. And looking at these games, this is one of the tools here where we can identify where teams' attacking strengths are. So what position do they score the majority of their tries, and where does that rank in the league? So here's their average try scored per game through fullback. And this is where they rank in terms of the overall NRL. So the Storm average 0.54 tries per game, and that ranks 6th in the NRL. On the right wing, they rank 11th. On the right center, they rank 10th, and so on and so forth. What we're doing is looking for green numbers in this column, like here, where we have the halves, the front row, the number one side in the league, and pretty much anything 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 for that position. And then we're looking for the opponent tries against. So the opponent for this game being the Roosters, where do they concede their tries? So this is their average tries they concede, and this is where that ranks overall in the league. And on this column, we're looking for numbers in red. So 17, 16, 15, 14, even down to 13. And if we can find situations where we've got a strong team in that position going against a weak side in that position, then it's a good betting situation, obviously pending odds and assuming that the regular player in that position will be playing in the game. We also look at that player's overall form. So have they been scoring tries recently, or are they somebody who, got a lot of tries early in the season and haven't scored since round 12 or something like that, just to make sure they are in try scoring form. Because what this chart shows us is very, very quickly we're able to identify where teams should be doing their attacking. So for the Storm, they're not that great of a right edge attacking side, but do the majority of their scoring through the left edge, and then also in the halves and front and second row. So we're looking for the Storm to be pushing most of their attack towards that left edge, and also where the Roosters are weak defensively is against the opponent left winger. It's very hard to see the Storm right edge players scoring, especially considering the Storm don't average that many tries over that side of the field. And also the Roosters are the best defensive side. All signs, smart play for the Storm will be pushing towards the left edge, particularly the left wing, and then also targeting the middle of the field. So that's how we use these tools to determine those positions. So looking at the Storm Roosters game, first of all, as I said, one player from each side. We've kind of already spoken about it for the Melbourne Storm. We're going to be looking at the left wing here. They rank 4th in the league in tries through this position. And this is the one area of the back line the Roosters struggle to defend. So Xavier Coates plays left wing for the Melbourne Storm. He missed a bit of the season from effectively round 18 through to round 26, returned in round 27. And then didn't score in their game against the Sharks, and Storm obviously had the bye last week. Overall this season, scored a try in 57% of matches, so over half of their games. And then against the Sydney Roosters, if I bring up his overall record, he scored 8 tries across his past 4 games and scored at least 1 try in each of those last 4. So he has a very, very good record. The situation sets up, and he's my best try scorer bet out of the two in this game. On Bet365, if we have a look, he's paying $1.83 to cross for a try. The way this game sets up, the Melbourne Storm should be winning, and it's very likely that Coates will cross for a try, especially considering how many tries the Roosters led him through that position, and outside of it, how for the most part, their defense is pretty good. The other area they do concede a lot of tries is to the interchange bench for the opponent. However, that's not an area where I normally target any players to score a try because those players are generally playing limited minutes. What that alludes to, though, is that the Roosters do concede a lot of tries during the period just before and just after halftime to more of those second rowers and front rowers, as they're the players that generally get replaced when the interchanges do happen. So that's something to keep in mind. So definitely be looking at the forwards for the Storm and the left wing. I'm just going to keep it to the one play for Melbourne being Xavier Coates. Then for the Roosters, there are a number of kind of ways that you could potentially go here. But I'm going to look to the wingers and particularly the left wing. Roosters ranked second in the league through this position. And the Melbourne Storm ranked 12th defensively against opponent left wingers. Playing the left wing for the Roosters is Daniel Tupou. Overall, this season, you see listed second there. He scored 20 tries overall and scored a try in 65% of matches this season. He scored a try in 2 of his past 3 against Melbourne and has scored a try in 5 of his past games this season, going back to round 22. The Roosters have been very consistent. They score the most tries in the league through their wingers. Both Dominic Young and Daniel Tupou have 20 tries each. Tedesco has been in really good form recently. He's scored 5 tries across his past 3 games and has scored in 5 of his past 6 games as well. However, against the Melbourne Storm, he hasn't scored a try in the past 5 games against them. So not really an ideal situation for him, and the Storm are pretty good defensively against opponent fullbacks ranked 3rd in the league. So I do prefer the play out of the 2 on this game. I do prefer the play on Xavier Coates, but definitely backing both in Coates and Tupou on Bet365. Daniel Tupou is paying $2.45 to cross for a try. When it comes to staking these bets, just because it's finals doesn't mean you need to bet more, just because we have less bets this week. Keep it to the same staking. So you're backing each player to win 1.5 units. So that means for Xavier Coates, say you're backing him to win $150. I'll quickly show you how to calculate it. Otherwise, you can just use the betting slip to figure out and play around with the number to get the exact number. But all you need to do is find what the odds are. So $1.83 minus 1 on the calculator leaves us 0.83. So you just got to remember that number. Then whatever the amount that you want to win is, to say it's $150, you go being 1.5 units. To put in 150, divide it by the 0.83 that we just calculated, and it'll tell you $180 will win you 150. And then for Tupou at the $2.45, we go $2.45 minus 1, leaves us $1.45. So pretty simple. You can do that one in your head. And then we go 150 divided by 145, and it's $103 to win 150 on Tupou at $2.45. So that's the really easy way of calculating how much to stake to win the exact amount. Otherwise, you need to play around in the bet slip to calculate the number. Panthers versus Sharks. So again, one play on each team. For the Panthers, there really is a number of ways that you can go here. They don't really have any standout positions where they score their tries. And it is very, very even across the board. And the Sharks defensively, there's no real areas of weakness. Just lots of mid-range to above average kind of numbers across the board. But the player I want to target here for the Panthers is the right winger in Brian To'o. He's paying $1.77 on Bet365 to cross for a try. Definitely don't back it at the $1.50-ish that's on Sportsbet. They always just have these players up as unders. He scored a try in his past 2 games. Prior to the Panthers bye last week. Did miss a few games during the mid part of the season. Overall, on the year, he scored 13 tries and scored a try in 41% of matches. But this time of the year, I think Watching the Panthers play against the Roosters in their first final, they were just pushing a lot of their attack towards his side, and I think they're going to continue doing that here against the Sharks. Druva playing on the opposite wing, obviously very consistent. None of the Panthers players have like a good record historically against the Sharks. So they haven't, found a way to exploit Cronulla as of yet, but I think they're going to do the majority of their attacking towards this right-hand side. And Toho, the player, to take advantage of that. Do like the fact that he has got back into form recently with tries in each of his last two games. Against the Sharks, he didn't score in his last game against them early this season when the Panthers won 42-0, but did score in the prior game late last year when Penrith won 28 points to nil. Penrith obviously expected to win this game. They're going to have to find try scorers, and I think he can be one of them. And then for the Sharks, it's obviously a little bit risky taking a player considering the Sharks haven't scored a point in their last two games against the Panthers and lost those games by combined 70 points to nil. But I do want to play the left wing here. So Ronaldo Mulitalo for the Sharks plays left wing. The Sharks rank third in the league through this position, and Penrith don't defend it all that well. They have the 10th ranked left edge defense and the 14th ranked defense against opponent left wingers. Mulitalo crossed for a try last week, making it 18 tries overall for the season. Didn't score in week 1 against Melbourne, but did score 2 tries in his return in round 27 against Manly. Scores a try in 55% of games overall this season, and on Bet365 he's paying $2.65, so there's enough value there to make it a bet. And I think of the positions, like the Sharks need to push their attack towards that left edge. Last week against the Cowboys, even though the Cowboys defend that side really well, the Sharks just kept pushing their attack there, and I definitely don't think that's going to change this week against the Panthers. This is the location they're going to find points, and Mulitalo to cross for a try is going to be the fourth and final play across these two games. So to quickly recap, for the Storm, we're going Xavier Coates at $1.83. For the Roosters, we're going Daniel Tupou at $2.45. For the Panthers, we're going Brian Toho at $1.77. And then for the Sharks, Ronaldo Mulitalo at $2.65. Remember, back them all to win 1.5 units. That 1.5 units is dependent on your betting bankroll. So calculate what you want your betting bankroll to be, and then divide it down to 1.5 units. So divide it by 100, and then multiply that by 1.5 to get you 1.5 units, and then back each selection to do that. As you've seen, we've been doing this for a number of weeks now. Quite a long way in front across all the plays. And the reason why this works is because we're not just backing random players just because somebody scored a try last week. We're combining multiple factors find really good selections and most likely try scorers, as opposed to just picking random players and hoping that it works out. We're identifying like where teams need to target in their attack and which players will be able to take advantage of that. So those are the 4 that we're going with this week. Good luck if you're following along. Make sure you check out the game preview of both of these matches as well. That's already posted up on the channel. And then also this week we have the AFL Grand Final. I put up a preview for that, going through who I think is going to win and why. Some player disposals and also goal scorer selections that I've identified following similar methods as you see here in the NRL. Also, I've been previewing every game of the NFL each week. This week we're up to week 4, which kicks off tomorrow morning. They just have the one game between the Cowboys and Giants, and then the rest of the games on Monday. I'll put the link to the investor.bet USA channel in the description. So if you're interested in betting on American sports, definitely give that channel a follow. There's going to be videos covering that as well. And then the only other major thing coming up this weekend is the horse racing. We've got Group 1 racing on Friday night and on Saturday afternoon. So really good quality racing. We're almost at 20 units profit so far through September. Picked up another 5 units on Wednesday just past. If you're interested in following the racing selections, it's called The Racing Show. I'll put the link to that in the description. Racing is the most profitable thing you can bet on out of everything because there's the most mistakes in the market. Like here, we're looking at players, paying $1.80, $2.50 to cross for a try. And there's not a great deal of mistakes in those markets. The players that I identified, I do feel like they could be 10, 20 cents shorter. In horse racing, we're consistently finding horses at $2.50 that should be $2, at $3 that should be $2.20. And a lot of the time they get backed into those prices, but we're sitting there early at that a lot better price. And when I say we're sitting there early, we're only betting the day prior. So it's not like we're betting on a Wednesday for a Saturday. You don't need to be, that on the ball. But with all the racing selections, I send them out to members the day prior, so they got plenty of time to go through, put all the bets on. And if you've been watching the other videos, you might have heard that I put together a special package for spring racing, which we're, almost a month into now, where my goal is to make at least 50 units profit. I'm aiming for 100, but I've said to everyone, if we don't make at least 50 units profit, and you remember right throughout the spring carnival, then you get an additional 3 months for free. That promotion ended last week, but I've had a couple more people join because of seeing those videos, and having a couple more people also message asking if it still applies because they didn't see it on the website. What I've decided to do is just have that available. So if you join between now and the end of September, so September 30th on Monday, you sign up to the racing show, and then you're a member throughout the spring carnival for the 3 months. And we don't make at least 50 units. Now, aiming for the 100. So if you're betting $50 and we hit 100 units, that's 5,000 profit. If we get to the 50, that's $2,500 profit during these 3 months. Otherwise, you get an additional 3 months free. On the website are all the results of every single bet. Pretty much over the past 3 years, we averaged 40 units profit per month. So across the 3 months, we should be hitting 120 units profit. Obviously, nothing's guaranteed of what we hit during that period of time. However, there's not just the 3 years of me sharing the bets with members since October 2021, but I've also been doing this full-time since 2012, and pretty much started horse racing in 2014 full-time after starting with the NRL and AFL and a couple of American sports prior to that. So you really want to build up your betting bankroll before the start of next football season. Definitely check out the racing show. That's going to be the best way and most profitable way for you to do that. And then you can go into next NRL season, and instead of you betting these plays to win $150, you'll be betting them to win $500 because of the work you've done during this offseason. So definitely check it out. If you have any questions, email support@investor.bet.com.au. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about the racing show. But back to the NRL. Enjoy the games this weekend. Hopefully we hit 4 from 4. Do think these games are going to verge on the slide of being slightly higher scoring, and that'll give the opportunity for all 4 of our players to cross for a try. We hit 2 of the 4 last week, and we're very, very close to 3. Sione Katoa did cross for a try. It was awarded. Then they thought about it for like 5 minutes and then decided we're going to go and review this one, and then found a little knock on a while later. So nearly had the 3 of the 4 this week. Let's go and hit all 4. So good luck. Enjoy the footy this weekend, and really appreciate you guys watching and following along.